The Dodgers bullpen needs some serious help, and it looks like help might be on its way very soon. Hey, this is Mike Nelson of Dodgers Digest. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Right now, 97% of you have not yet subscribed to the channel. For those of you that are watching the videos, I want to thank those thousands of people, thousands of Dodger fans that are watching. But let's get those subscribe numbers up. Only 2% of you are subscribed. Let's make sure to subscribe. That way you don't miss out on any Dodger news. So, let's get right into it. The Dodgers are interested in relief pitcher Tanner Scott. Tanner Scott from the Miami Marlins is on the trade market. What else is new? The Miami Marlins are sellers once again at the deadline. It seems like every year this team is just trying to unload whatever they got. But anyway, John Hyman of the New York Post is reporting that a potential Tanner Scott trade is basically on the books. Maybe the Dodgers are interested, along with many other teams. The D-backs, the Phillies, the Seattle Mariners, who of course made a big splash this week picking up Randy Arozarena. So it looks like a lot of teams are interested in bolstering their bullpen with the pitcher like Tanner Scott. So the Dodgers are definitely going to have some competition. But the way that the season is going here for the Dodgers, they really need some help when it comes to the bullpen. So this is something they definitely have to look into for sure. Now, the Phillies, who were on this report from John Hyman, are of course also interested as well. This is coming from DodgerBlue.com. They say that, of course, the Phillies are interested, but you got to remember that just yesterday the Phillies made a big trade with the Angels picking up their closer, Carlos Estevez. So, maybe they're not going to be as interested now after picking up a pretty solid bullpen pitcher. In a trade that I think a lot of people are kind of shocked that the Angels decided to move on from their closer, although, as we know, the Angels season has not gone the way they wanted to. So they look like they're going to be selling at the deadline in the next few days. But going back to Tanner Scott, who's on the on the trade market right now, let's talk about what does he exactly bring to the table. I think that's what a lot of Dodger fans want to know. So Scott does walk a lot of batters, but he has offset that. This is coming from DodgerBlue.com as well. He strikes out 28% of the hitters that he's faced, and he's limited the home run ball at an elite rate of just 0.4 per 9 innings. His ERA is 1.18 in 45 innings pitched this year. I mean, that is definitely dominant numbers for a bullpen pitcher in modern baseball. I mean, you get an ERA under 2. I mean, you're definitely doing something right with the way, as we know, with all the analytics and how you study the pitchers. There's just so much tools for the hitters out there to really hone in and figure out what the pitcher is going to be throwing next. So for this pitcher, Tanner Scott, to have a 1.18 ERA here in 2024 is definitely something impressive, and it's drawing interest from a lot of contending teams. The Marlins, as we know, are not contending this year. So they're just trying to unload talent, try to pick up prospects for years to come. And the Dodgers, as we know, have some prospects, as we've talked about, ready to go, ready to move. So getting Tanner Scott is definitely a possibility. When you look at the other teams involved in this report, the Phillies and D-backs, they probably don't have as much left now to give up. Especially the Mariners after the Arozarena trade, they definitely don't have probably what the Dodgers have to give up in terms of picking up, in making a trade that the Marlins would be interested in doing, right? Now, let's talk about his last 5 games for Tanner Scott. Scott has looked pretty good, not giving up any runs, basically, in all these games that he's pitched. Only walked 2 batters in the last 5 games, and he's picking up a strikeout every game. Of course, this is all 1 inning pitch because he's a relief pitcher. He just comes in and he throws 1 inning. Mainly as a closer or setup man, he's been used this season. Picking up, 8 strikeouts in 5 games. Did hit 1 batter, but basically dominant numbers for sure for the Marlins. Only giving up 1 run in his last 5 games. Now, you look at his standard pitching, you might say, hey, Mike, but what about his numbers before? I mean, the guy was definitely struggling when he first broke into the league. A 5.4 ERA, a 4.7 ERA, even an ERA over 5 in 2021. So he definitely was struggling when he first broke into this league. But look at his numbers the last 3 years. I mean, he improved up to 4.3 in 2022. Then it got a little better in 2023, gained a 2.31. And then this year, it's even at a higher rate at 1.18 ERA, looking great in 45 innings pitched. He's arguably the best, reliever in baseball right now. That's crazy to say, but Tanner Scott is arguably the best reliever in baseball, and the Dodgers might be getting him in the next few days. Just huge news for sure for this team, and a trade I'm going to say the Dodgers definitely have to make, especially after yesterday. The Dodgers collapsed once again against the Houston Astros in a tough loss yesterday. Alex Bregman is the one that walked off the game for the Dodgers. But Dodger fans on social media, or not just on social media, just everywhere, are once again blaming manager Dave Roberts, who, as we know, has faced some criticism in the last few years, or you could say his whole tenure here with the Dodgers with the decisions he's made. But yesterday, Dave Roberts, talking to the press after the game, did shoulder the blame for a momentum shifting decision. Yesterday, this comes from DodgerBlue.com as well. This headline, yesterday he acknowledged to the press that he took out Robleski too early, and he mentioned the whole momentum in the game shifted after he took out Robleski, who was looking great. A scoreless game. The Dodgers were up 5-0 when he took him out. And then basically the whole entire game just collapsed for the team after that. Just nobody on the bullpen could get anything going in the next few innings, and eventually they ended up losing the game at the end, despite having the lead multiple times, even late in the game as well. So, the question is, once again, why does Dave Roberts take out the starting pitching so early? I just don't get it. The Dodgers had basically all the momentum here. Robleski was rolling. There was no reason to take him out there, despite giving up the hit there in that inning. There's just not enough in the Dodgers bullpen to really go to that gives you confidence that they're going to get the outs. There just isn't, especially against a team like the Astros, who of course we all hate, as we know. But as Dodger fans, we're always going to hate the Astros. But anyway, going back to that, the Dodgers, could have definitely not have taken out Roberts. Could have not have taken out Robleski, in that situation. Roberts definitely made a mistake there, taking out the starting pitcher. We've seen this many times before, him making bad decisions, and it just goes back to the same, thing. Is Roberts really the right guy to manage his team? I think that's what every Dodger fan out there is always wondering. Is he the right manager for this team, or are they going to have to make a change at the end of this season if things don't go, the way they expect, which is going to a World Series, competing in the playoffs. They can't lose in the first round again and really expect to bring Dave Roberts back next season. I really think they're going to have to make a managerial change. And yesterday was once again evidence of maybe he's the wrong guy for the job for the Dodgers. But going back to my original point, Tanner Scott could really be that help that the Dodgers need in the bullpen. He could have been that X factor last night against the Astros and picking up 3 outs in a high-pressure inning. Remember to subscribe to Dodgers Digest for more great Dodger news.